The Galaxy S24 Ultra was the best phone of 2024. That's what I believe, and I'm going to go ahead and share with you why I believe that's the case after reviewing many phones in 2024. So I have quite a few reasons, but let me begin with the very first one, and that's going to be the premium build quality and materials. So we do have this titanium build over here, and overall the entire year, because it has this more rectangular appearance, it just kind of has its own unique flair. Everyone knows it's kind of that note look, but definitely this titanium build with the symmetrical cameras. All year long, I just picked this phone up and I'm like, man, does this thing feel premium? So it just always felt like top of the line. And a lot of phones do feel like top of the line, but nothing quite feels like the S24 Ultra just because of its shape. It's just got a very bold stance, a very I'm the biggest and baddest on the block kind of feel with this phone. So I just always felt that way, that this thing is top of the line. So premium build, materials, quality, that's the very first reason why this is definitely standing head and shoulders above tons of phones on the market today. And we'll see how it goes with the S25 Ultra. But this one definitely was a home run, I feel like. The next one is the 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display. However, it's not just that we have that, because we've had that on the S22 Ultra. We had that on the S23 Ultra. It's because it's anti-reflective now. So this year, it was super anti-reflective, which is something a lot of phones don't give you. And basically what it did was it made this phone not give you a ton of glare or anything like that. And that's a game changer because most phones don't have that anti-glare property on them. And of course it's picking up that light because that's a super bright studio light. Anything could pick that up. But on top of that, it's super sharp, super bright, and it has better PWM rates than it used to have. So it didn't really hurt my eyes as much as before. It's just overall been a fantastic panel. Now, some people didn't like that it didn't look as vibrant and saturated and vivid as some of the older versions. However, Samsung did launch an update that allowed you to go ahead and tweak that vividness of the phone and definitely improve that part of the device. So it kind of was a mixture between having some vivid but also having anti-reflective coating. But we'll see the S25 Ultra probably improve on this area even more, as Samsung's the king of displays. And some phones had gotten thinner bezels this year over the S24 Ultra, but these things are still pretty thin. They're almost non-existent, so it's not really a big deal. The S24 Plus had thinner bezels though. Other than that though, the display, it's just been amazing. And taking advantage of this panel with the edge panel and stuff like that, it really does take really good advantage. And with the One UI 7, this is beta 2 right here, when you go into the landscape mode, they improved this to be more usable now. It doesn't look quite as crammed, like the apps don't look quite as crammed. So let me go ahead and turn the brightness down a little bit. The apps don't look quite as crammed in there. And it kind of feels more like a little tablet now with the One UI 7 beta. So taking advantage of the panel and giving you a ton of usable features while also having this flat screen TV kind of look here in your pocket. This phone right here, it just really is stepping head and shoulders above, again, most of the competition in the display. So it's been the best phone of the year for me for this. So the next reason is going to be the top tier Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor. So this phone right here offered speed that I have never seen before on Samsung phones. Now, the S22 Ultra was really fast, but this was the first year that the phone really didn't give me any major lag, any chop, anything like that. It's about time. We see a Samsung with amazing animations now, amazing speed, and Samsung is on the right track here with these latest Ultra devices. They're definitely on the right track, and that's why I feel like they're pretty good value when you usually get those deals on them, because you can do trade-ins, get a massive discount, but you still have one of the fastest phones on the market. So the speed of the Snapdragon, you've seen in most of my speed tests this year, has been incredible. So the Snapdragon processor really put this thing on the map, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 being one of the earliest phones of the year to get it as a premium mainstream phone. Just really put it on the map as one of the fastest out there. 12 gigs of RAM, I hope to see that go to 16 gigs of RAM as some other competitors have that, but it never really gave me an issue because 12 gigs of RAM is still quite a bit of RAM. That's as much as some computers have. So been pretty great. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, no overheating issues, nothing like that. It's been amazing. The next one is going to be the battery life. And by the way, One UI 7 now has a different battery indicator you can see right there. Definitely looks like some other phones out there. I think you know what I'm talking about. But if we go over here and we go back to the battery settings, you're going to find that we do have nice battery protection modes and different abilities to do things in here. You can turn on you can check your battery information down there, and there's more you can play around with. It charges pretty quick, although it does get really blown away by OnePlus phones in charging. However, it's still fast enough. It's faster than charging like some iPhones. So definitely it's pretty decent if you have the 45 watt. The 5000 milliamp though, I think it could go up in size. I would like to see a bigger cell in here, but it seems to last pretty long. I never really had this phone dying too much day to day. Once it learns your usage patterns, it does pretty well in that area. I do find it to drain quite a bit if I'm using a lot of camera, like 4K video, 8K, stuff like that. And I do find it to drain quite a bit if the brightness is jacked up all the way and I'm playing games of that sort, something like that. It will drain, but just regular use, this phone is an easy all-day phone, and maybe then some, depending on how your usage is. But it definitely stacks up as a heavy use phone for sure with solid battery life. The next reason is this is the best phone of the year is the exceptional camera setup. Versatile 200 megapixel camera setup with now better controls for one-handed use in One UI 7. Well, this is the beta, but we'll be having this soon. If you bought an S24 Ultra, you plan on getting one, you will be getting that soon. But just exceptional cameras across the board. There's so much you can do with them. 10 times, 3 times zoom. You'll see right here, they kind of move things down. You also have so many modes like Pro Video, Pro RAW, dual recording, which can show 2 different cameras at once. The versatility of the camera is just insane. Also, you can go 100 times zoom. There are some competitors going a little bit further than that, but Samsung still has a really good option here. And of course, when you get to the full zoom, it can get a little bit grainy. It's still not a full, perfectly clear shot, but you do have a macro mode right there. So we go over here to portrait. You have portrait video and more 8K video recording capabilities. All the settings right here in camera. It's loaded, guys. Let's just put it that way. And I think because this camera was so versatile, there wasn't really any phone camera that came out that was like, oh, I got to ditch this phone to go to that one. Like, it really wasn't. Like, even though some of them might be slightly better here and there in certain scenarios, I just feel like the S24 Ultra has literally everything they had and then some in terms of, feature set. So the camera's exceptional. And because of that, there wasn't really much beating it throughout the year. So it just makes me excited to see the next advancements in the S25 Ultra. The next one is going to be the S Pen support. There's just nothing like it on the market. A regular standard flagship phone with a suite of software that goes well with the phone, and then you could sketch to image with some AI generation. So there's just definitely some new advancements to the S Pen, and instead of Samsung ditching it, which I hope they never do because it really does give them a selling point that other phones don't give you, and definitely for some people it might be niche, but it's still for some people. It just gives you ability to write notes and stuff like that. And while some people think it's useless or it's a gimmick, it's not to everybody. And sometimes you might not even want to use it just for that. You might just want to use it to scroll through the phone, or you got your fingers greasy. You don't want to mess up the screen, make it all nasty. You could just use the pen to just kind of navigate. Or if there's a smaller link you're trying to navigate with, it just kind of gives it more of a computer in your pocket feel. With Samsung DeX on here as well. This is just a great addition, and it comes in the body. You don't have to have that stylus separate like you do on the Z Fold. So definitely this phone with the S Pen connectivity and creation tools in there, just really something that, just can't be matched. The next one is this phone does have regular software updates and security patches, better than some other phones out there. Not every one of them, but most of them. So Samsung really doing great with the software. It did take them a while to get this One UI 7 on here, but the One UI 7 beta has been pretty fun to use, a lot of new features, and we're going to see more betas to come. And while it's not perfect yet, we're going to probably see the official in just a month or so when the S25 Ultra comes out. So I don't think we're super far away, and they wanted to wait till it was good, and it's definitely good. The One UI 7 beta running really fantastic right now. in my experience. So battery life is not as good as it was before the beta, but that's what to be expected. But definitely software updates have been a strong suit, I would say, for Samsung this year, especially, compared to how they used to be back in the past. You get these software updates and security patches nearly every single month, and you don't even got to think about it. Keeps your device running smoothly, keeps it secure, and it's really a good selling point of this product right here. Next reason this was the best phone of 2024 is because of Samsung DeX. Now, this can apply to other Samsung S lines as well, like S24 Ultra, S24 Plus, S24, S23 even has it, S23 Plus has it, S23 Ultra has it. But just having Samsung DeX always is going to put this in a different league because it takes your phone and makes it a computer. How many phones do that? Only Samsung phones really do that and do it in this type of way. So, other phones can go DisplayPort and just give you a blown up version of the phone on the screen, but this turns it into more of a desktop experience. So this is definitely a strong suit. Although I wish they would improve the resolution. Sometimes the resolution isn't as sharp as it could be, and there's some improvements they could make to it, but it's definitely a selling point. It's definitely been something that really puts this phone into a different league of its own. It would be nice to see, though, the Samsung DeX be kind of like built right into the phone, so you could use Samsung DeX on the phone, not just on a monitor. That would be pretty amazing. Turn your little phone into a little computer in your pocket. But it would be too small on this screen, but especially on the foldables, we might be able to do that. The front-facing camera was also pretty good. It's a pretty high megapixel count, and also it did pretty good with video quality and stuff of that sort, not making your skin look horrible or anything like that. This is a little bit soft for some people, but definitely pretty good. So I'm going to wrap it up here. This phone has been the best of the year. I have so many more reasons, but I don't want to go on and on and on about it because I think I covered most of the main reasons. Really good battery life, really fast processor, an outstanding camera, really great build materials. The Samsung ecosystem, Samsung DeX, as well as the S Pen, just setting this thing apart. There's no phone I could think of this year in 2024 that came out that really beat it in any significant way. Even the iPhone 16 Pro Max, like that phone, a slight reduction in bezels, making it slightly larger than the S24 Ultra, but it doesn't mean that it was technically better because the S24 Ultra already had incredible speed, incredibly large panel, and this one's anti-reflective. That one's not. Also a small punch-hole camera, faster charging, SIM card slot. We talked about that already over there. The edge panels, multitasking, features everywhere. You never run out of things to do. Customization. It's everything. It's everything in a phone. Maybe one thing people probably don't think it is the most polished looking software, but they're working on that as well. So they're just inching closer and closer to the most features with perfection in this department. So I am really looking forward to seeing where they go next with the S25 Ultra. But I honestly think, and I would tell you if this wasn't, but I honestly think this was the best flagship smartphone of 2024. Let me know if you agree down below in the comments. If you disagree, that's okay as well. Drop those down below. Let's talk about it. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Nick here. Be sure to be well. And peace.